Hello, Andrea St. Amand. Today we're going to talk about something that I consider so important that this live's going to be a little bit different, and I'm going to break it into two parts, one today and one maybe Thursday. So what is standing between you and your most desired future? What is that? And I want to break down why that's really important. So I thank you all so much for your responses and all of your heartfelt shares to my post with us the other day. And in fact, I'm going to go through most of your responses and give you like some thoughts that dropped in my head. And we'll do the same thing on Thursday. But also know too that when you post or you share in here, there's over 3,000 people in this group. There's a lot of people who are watching, and just you are not just speaking for you, you're also speaking for other people. And there is so much healing and that kind of validation. So when you guys share, thank you so much. And for you guys who are watching and not sharing, that's totally, totally fine. In fact, I would say 95% of my clients have never made a post in here. They just private message me because a lot of people are private, and that's really totally fine. But just know that there's healing. There's this ripple effect of healing when you're sharing something really deep, especially something that's painful to you or that makes you feel insecure and scared. So I want to give you all that. Thank you. The other thing, so I want to talk about what's standing in your way, which is now the present, and what's keeping you from the future. So Thursday, we're going to talk about what the future is, and I'm going to give you some tips to get into that future. But most of us cannot even conceive of a future that's radically different than our past. So we're stuck needing to heal a lot of past blockages. And sometimes those past blockages are from past lives. That's real. That's legitimate, energetic stuff. So a lot of us, though, we start to manifest, or we start to think. Now, manifestation, what I mean by manifestation is you're consciously thinking, these are the goals I want for my life. This is what I want to be in a year. This is where I want to be, and I'm going to take steps to bring that into creation. So we do that. That's a process of manifestation. We do that. That's like putting one foot on the gas, and all of a sudden something kicks in, and we go, well, why would I get that in a year? And we do something that slams on the brakes. We're on the gas, I want this, and then we slam on the brakes, because what we're thinking about the future, we can't get our heads wrapped around a future that's radically different from our past. So sit with that for a minute, and then try to release some of those blocks that are about that. Open your mind. We'll talk more about that on Thursday. But most of my work has really been focused on healing people, like doing deep readings and healing people because of past stuff and past doubt, past insecurity. There's a lot of underlying themes that go with people's blocks to get them into the future. A lot of it is based on doubt and pain. So a lot of my work has been healing with that, and I'm being called to go into more like, okay, once you're healed, how can we get you working into the future that you desire? So I do future readings, which for some reason I just wasn't called to do before. I'm going to start doing them now with business and with everything else about pulling into the future. And again, we'll talk about more of the future on Thursday and what that means. So for healing the past, in terms of, think about you're on this road and something comes up. You're on a road and there's a block, and you got to clear that block so you can keep going down the road. And that block is usually something coming up from your past. I would say that everyone in here watching this is spiritual. I mean, we're all spiritual, but we're all actually aware of that more than most people, which means you're more aware of that block in the road. Sometimes people get a block in the road, they just keep banging their head against it, right? They don't care to change it. They don't care to walk around it. They just go bang their head against it. But that's not us. That's not where we are. We're actually aware that we're spiritual beings. We're aware that we need to heal, which makes the pain more awful for us, at least in the beginning, because we're more sensitive to our pain. We're more sensitive to other people's pain. That is a true phenomenon, even for light workers. I mean, that's something that just comes up over and over again. There's always going to be self-work. There's always going to be a block. I will tell you, I promise you, if you start healing, really healing and moving forward, even if it rears its head again, it's going to be more subtle the next time. It just will. And with me, for instance, even just this, being a light worker myself, being a reader, every time I have to do something new, every time someone's like, it's time to level it up, it's time to step out, it's time to do this national radio interview, I am like, oh, no, I'm not doing that. I get so petrified. And yet, because all the self-doubt, all the fear of being overwhelmed comes up for me, all this stuff, and I have to work through it and keep going, because when I do, it's less the next time. And then when I make another connection, healing connection with another human being, it's worth it all over again. It's like, oh man, I'm so glad I put myself through that, or I wouldn't have really been able to connect with this other person and heal them on their path. And so it's the same for you guys. I promise you, if you're on that path of self-work, it's never going to end, but it's going to get so much better. And because you guys shared some of your blocks, I just want to give you the thoughts that came down into my head. I'm not going to name your names because I want your privacy to be respected if this video gets reposted elsewhere. Obviously, too, just a comment. Anybody that comments here on this live, none of your comments, none of that gets reposted. It's just the video. But I don't want to name names. So I have someone who said a broken heart. And the first thing that came to me, like, oh gosh, I could feel that. There's another woman who posted about being in a relationship that's got her so twisted up she can't even focus on her business. Hearts are real stuff. Our broken hearts and our relationships are probably the most important things in our lives, right? I mean, they can affect us more. I was going to say more than our business, but our business is full of relationships too, because one woman posted that she had her boss, an ex-boss, really broke her spirit. And that's like having a broken heart. So I want to tell you, my hands are on fire right now. Your heart chakra drains this way through your hands. So a lot of times if your heart chakra is overactive or underactive, you're going to have highly sensitive hands or not sensitive enough hands. So use that to the extent, like literally focus on healing your heart chakra, and focus on either accepting loving energy coming through your hands. That could be from the ground, that could be from the air, it could be from anything, or healing other people. If you're feeling overactive, just use that energy, harness it, and let it go out through your hands. So that's just a thought I wanted to drop in for you guys with the heart issues. Living in a place, by the way, everybody's got heart issues. It all comes down to our heart and what's in our heart. And I'm going to jump to another thought. Anything you desire, this is like getting out of your own way for the future. Anything you desire at all, you have the ability of getting it. Otherwise, you're not going to desire it. If you want it, you can get it. Otherwise, you wouldn't want it. Think of all the things that other people want that you don't care about. It's because it's not in your path. You don't want it. But if you want it, you can have it. So heal that heart. You can just put your own hands on your heart and heal your heart. Another sad person, I'm confused about this relationship I'm in. Living in a place I don't want to be separated from my son. So that's sad too if you're separated from a loved one. And I'm going to say here, you know that you can always move. A lot of people we put blocks, we put the brake on ourselves. We just do, and we think, I can't move to be where I want to be because a job is holding me back, or because I have to take care of this sick parent, or I have to take care of somebody else right now. So if that's the situation you're in, put a time frame on yourself. Don't allow yourself to stay stuck or in a situation that's not ideal for you forever and ever. The one thing I hear over and over and over again from spirit when I'm either channeling or I'm giving mediumship readings, deceased loved ones, they say so often to remind my client, the soul never dies, but you are not human forever. You are on this earth with your feet on this earth for a snap of time. You have to dig deep. You have to work. You need to do the self-work and live absolutely the largest life you can live, and you can do it. There's so much support in the spirit world, and I hear that so often. So don't allow yourself to get stuck in any level of mediocrity, or to allow yourself to be average, because it's not what you're here for, and you can do this. You can totally have a better life, even if that life is something you've never had in the past. Trust me. This is a beautiful one. Changing my lifestyle so I won't be on meds for the rest of my life. And I instantly got, when I read that, I'm like, you're already on your path. You are already on your path. You are already on, you just keep going, keep going, keep going. This woman, the energy of her is like totally there. So I got like, you got it. Just keep going and don't give up before you hit the finish line. Somebody else also wrote, in a word, bullshit. And I was like, somebody else's bullshit or your own? So I actually know this person, so as a personal friend, so I could say that to him. But anyway, I did want to That was my response to him. This is really a very real thing too. Being unable to allow myself to forgive certain people for the things they did to me. I allowed it, but I just can't forgive. Forgiveness is tricky, and you know what? You live into it. It's not a snap decision you make. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not. You have to just live into it, and it's always about coming back to yourself. We have so little control, like zero, over other people. The only thing we can do, because they're divine beings just like we are, the only thing we can do is get ourselves in a situation with that self-work so that we are attracting different behavior around the people around us. So, I think, the block with forgiveness of other people, it's a block of forgiving yourself for allowing yourself to be victimized or allowing yourself to be in that situation. And just know that it happened for a reason. You might not know the reason. I don't mean that it's happened for some destiny reason, something like that. But I just know that you've been given that experience and you got through it. And maybe it's so you can use that experience to help other people down the line. But you'll live into that love of yourself. Just keep pushing that love back on yourself. And don't buy into any idea that you deserved it. At all, because sometimes people think bad things happen, they must have deserved it. Yeah, we're not here to suffer. We're just not. I hear that over and over again too from spirit. Holding on to people or options that will do me no good in the long term. Okay, well, only you can cut that cord, so cut it. Let those people go. That's hard if they're a family member, but sometimes you have to set boundaries and let them go. Distraction. That was a funny one. Actually, I started laughing when I heard distraction. I know distraction and procrastination is such a way to keep us from living our truth. It's such a way when when we're focused on everybody else, to keep us from turning inward and pushing ourselves forward, which is always it's the best way that we can help other people. And it's by helping ourselves first. And I would say too, like, even though I am in a service business where I'm helping people by giving readings, I have to take care of myself first. I have to address my self-doubt. I have to address all my fear that of everything that comes up. I have to take care of that, let it go, and give it up to spirit. That was another thing I wanted to say to you guys. When you're really floundering in self-doubt, give it up. Just give it up to spirit and just be like, you know what? There's more abundance. There's more out there that's available to me. I just have to trust God. I have to trust source. I have to trust spirit, because energy is infinite. Somebody said, nothing. I'm the only one in my own way. That's always 100% true. We are the only ones ever in our own way. Lack of confidence. That's the thing with lack of confidence, is that sometimes you just have to put your head down and keep going. Just keep going with humility, a great deal of humility, and just be like, I'm going to get experience. I'm going to get experience. I'm going to get experience. And suddenly you're like, oh, I've been doing this for like a year. I have a lot of experience. I know this thing. So don't let lack of confidence keep your butt on the couch and not moving forward into that, into your self-work and trust of spirit. Nothing, myself, anxiety and worry. I want to talk about this because somebody else said fear, and I get that. I know all of us get that. And what comes with that is overwhelm. And I think a lot of us stay back, or we're afraid to push ourselves forward. We're afraid to push into the future we want, based on fear and anxiety and worry. And it's sort of that, I think it's like fear of overwhelm. That what if I'm not going to be able to control what comes? What if I'm not going to be able to control what's going to, that unknown? And we can't. When you don't have to. You don't have to be in control. You can be an authority. You can work on mastering yourself, but you don't have to worry about controlling every outcome and everybody else. And there's a lot of anxiety and worry in, if I step out, what's going to happen? So that's the part I'm going to talk a lot more about on Thursday. It's that that unknown, the fear. But with overwhelm, that's a big thing that keeps us small, is that we think, oh my gosh, if I step forward, if I step out, I'm going to get totally inundated and overwhelmed with either negative feedback, criticism, people not supporting me. That these are all personal to me, in case you couldn't tell, but I hear it a lot from everybody else too. And just do it. Just do it anyway. Feel the fear and keep going, keep breathing, keep going. Struggling with learning how to set boundaries. That is huge. That's like another thing that's coming up for everybody, right? That's come up with a lot of people, saying no to people, saying no to somebody at work, saying no to a boss. Boundaries is the name of this journey, and it's part of that taking care of ourselves. Boundaries, boundaries. Oh my gosh. And so now they're repeating problematic people, being pulled by people, not having enough time for myself. That's the boundaries. A lot of times we think we don't deserve to set boundaries. We don't deserve to say no. We don't deserve to put ourselves first. And we're like the only ones we have to put first. And I don't mean that in a selfish way at all. I don't mean like we don't take care of other people, but we can't take care of anybody else till we're really taking care of ourselves and doing a lot of this self work. Just feeling stuck. Yeah. Self-confidence. Another person said fear and self-doubt. Um, all these things don't have to stay things that are in your way forever. So the more you like address it now, whatever is underlying that stuff, the more you heal that, I promise you it's going to get better. It's going to be more subtle the next time around, and you're like, oh, I got this. That's that fear demon, or that's my self-doubt. But you'll have skills and tools to deal with it the next time it raises its head, and it does get better. Life gets better. I promise you the future can be radically different than whatever your past has been. So a couple of things coming up. One, the video Thursday, I'm going to talk about the future and what it is and how, like, some tips in getting into it. But for today, the past, work on clearing those blocks, get a reading like that. This is like a deep soul level Akashic Records healing reading, heals that stuff. I also have a spirit guide circle that is coming March 15th. I'm going to post something in there about this tomorrow, I think. But if anybody's interested, it's a group, very affordable spirit guide reading. That's where you're going to come with some questions and just get guidance on specific steps and things like you might need to focus on, or things that you're unclear about. It's not a soul level Akashic record reading that I will do in deep, with the one-on-one. It is a small group. But yeah, I'll post more about that. But in the meantime, do whatever it takes to release, surrender, give it up to source, and expand. Be a bigger version of yourself, because it is what we are here on earth to experience. We are here not to struggle. We are here for ease. We are here for abundance. We are here for joy and lightness. And we're here to spread our light into all the shadows and all the darkness. That's why we're here. I hear that over and over again from people's deceased loved ones. Okay, I love you all, you guys. Any way I can help, reach out. Bye.